a song for you.
You're listening to Deep Purple Smoke on the Podcast. I will do one episode for each song the band recorded in the studio. However, this is a fan podcast and not band endorsed. It's more of a tribute to their long history, well beyond just the hits, and my way of giving something back to a band that has given so much to me. Let's dig in! Hello and welcome to another episode of Deep Purple Smoke on the Podcast. I am your host, Scott Haskin, and guys, we are on the last proper album track of SPLAT, and it's called SPLAT. Really hard to believe that we're at the end of the album already. We do have one bonus track that we will be covering tomorrow. I still have not listened to it yet. Tempted as I have been, I thought, well, I mean, I could argue that it would only be fair to listen to it twice before I record it, but I did say that I wouldn't listen to it and would be doing a first-time listen on the show, so I have held back. I will record that episode tomorrow in real time as I'm recording this today. Tomorrow will be tomorrow for you. It'll also come out tomorrow as you're listening to this, so it all adds up to one. Now, today's song I do not recall. I mean, when I went through the songs on the album, it's been over, like 2 weeks now since I've done that. So I don't recall it at all. I did go back last night and listen to the first Deep Purple podcast episode of SPLAT because they reviewed the first half of the album, which I've already covered. Held off the second half. I'm guessing they didn't do the bonus track because they usually do the bonus tracks in other episodes. But I was really fascinated by their takes. Very, very interesting. Agreed with a lot of their thoughts. I found it fascinating. But I think, I can't remember now if it was Nate or John that said something that really kind of stuck with me. And maybe it is the reason I'm having a difficult time gripping onto the songs a little bit. And, you know, I talked about even on Equals One with songs like Portable Door or Whoosh, like Nothing at All, or Throw My Bones. Like those songs immediately stuck with me. I could not get those melodies and rhythms out of my head. And maybe there's something about what they said, which was, you know, these guys are very comfortable doing what they're doing. And I don't know exactly what I'm hearing in that might relate to why I'm doing this. Like maybe the songs just feel like very comfortable. They don't need to do something that is catchy and radio playable. Maybe that just wasn't their natural focus this time. I don't know, but it just kind of connected to me in a way. And I thought there's something in this and it relates to how I'm receiving this album. I don't know exactly what it is. If you guys have any ideas, I would love to hear all about it. Please reach out to me and let me know. I would be very curious. But we are going to get into today's song, SPLAT. But before we do that, guys, it's Monday, the last Monday for a while. I did say in the last episode that I'm not sure when I'm going to record my revisit of this season. I was initially thinking August. That would line up pretty well between my trip to Vegas to go see the band and then, the Samhain podcast starting and everything. But I'm honestly not sure I'm going to be ready in a month to revisit these songs. I think I need to sit with them for a while and really learn them and let them grow on me. They're all good songs. There's standout moments, but there still aren't any songs that I'm like, they're all good. I enjoy them all, but I'm still not, there's anything like Portable Door, Highway Star, Space Truckin'. Nothing that just immediately grabs me and goes, this is your favorite song on the album. You know, like I'm happy with them. I'm enjoying them. I have, a few issues more with, again, the engineering than I do anything else. But some of the solos are not quite my wheelhouse. Some of the arrangements feel a little bit replicated. So I do have a little bit of a holdback with it, but for the most part, I mean, I've enjoyed every song. There's no doubt about that. There's no song on this album I'd be like, this doesn't belong. They shouldn't have put this on there. This should have been on one of those bonus CDs where they do, an instrumental version of a previous album song and then 2 live versions of songs that we've already heard. I don't feel like that about any of them. I've really enjoyed them. It's just that nothing is really topping the pile for me. Like they're just all good. It's just an enjoyable place to be. But before we go into the song, guys, like I said, it is Monday, and I do want to thank one more time while it's still open, the folks that have been kind enough to join the Patreon. Thank you for all your support over this last year and a half. You've all joined at different times. Some of you were there since the beginning. Some of you have been there since the days of my Uriah Heep the Magician's podcast. And I appreciate everything. I mean, I know I say it every week, and the words are not words. Like, I really mean it. The fact that there are people that care enough to show me that they value this enough to give back a little bit. And I mean, this is like the most extreme way you can do it, other than, showing up at my house with an edible arrangement that I probably couldn't eat because I'm diabetic. But other than that, like it's really just an amazing way to be willing to part with the ducats that you work so hard to earn, even if it's just $1. Every one of them has meant a great deal to me. And since I've shut off the incoming collection of any funds, I have cashed that out. I do not think that this is the time to buy bananas, so I'm just kind of holding on to it for whatever opportunities come up. I mean, it will all go to purple vinyl in my collection, I'm sure, at some point or another. But it's like I have a good majority of it. A lot of the stuff I want is either really hard to find in very good plus shape, and I don't want anything less than very good plus, or just ridiculously expensive, like bananas, between $400 and $700, and just not ready to go down that route. But I do have a huge majority of what I'm looking for in their collection. And I'm so grateful. My purple records and deep purple, just overall 45s and vinyl, between the picture disc, the album, the purple vinyls, the other colored vinyls, the picture disc 45s and all that, been pretty extensive. I do have a playlist on my YouTube channel. If you want to peruse there's a link in the show notes. One of the channels I have on the YouTube channel is my album a day. And in my album a day, I've been covering all the vinyls, the CDs, the stuff that I have, whether it's an LP, a 45, or like I said, a CD or some kind of special thing. I'm covering it one day at a time, and almost through all of that. But it's been a joy, and of course, all of my Deep Purple collection is on there. Also, if you're interested in seeing it broken down a little bit, on the Facebook group, I do have under each album for each season, there are pictures of all of the things I have from Deep Purple, whether it be the 45s, the LPs, CDs, basically anything in the collection, the box set that I have for Equals One. I still want to go back and get the one for SPLAT, but again, like timing and everything, I may get that one at some point, but I still want to get Whoosh and Now What. I think those are the only ones that they've done, because I think it started when they switched over to ear music, I want to say. And there's some different configurations of them too. Like there's like the one that's got patches, and then there's another one that has extra vinyls in it of the same album. I think I want to say that was Now What, but I could be wrong. Anyway, I've got a list of all the things that I have yet to get, and we'll see. However, the folks that I'm talking about on the Patreon, especially, and I would also include great thank yous to everyone who's shared, who's listened, who's told people about the podcast, who's liked, commented, sent me emails, all of that good stuff. I'm not very good at social media. I am a person who does things. I am a person who creates the things for people to listen to. I am not a big fan of being tethered to my phone or anything else because I'm too busy creating the next thing. I'm already at work on the Rainbow podcast. I've got the Samhain podcast done. I'm working on a new album. I'm working on releasing some of the older things that didn't get a proper release, like film scores and things that I've done. So I've always got things in the works, and I just don't really have the interest of being on social media and all that. But everyone who has reached out to me, I as far as I know, if I've received it or a notification of it, I have responded to you guys, and thank you all for the wonderful conversations and the lovely comments and all that. So at the $5 Money Talks tier, for the final time, we have William Rose, who has been a great friend over the last few years. Corey Morissette, my great podcasting partner on the upcoming God is My Witness, a WKRP rewatch podcast. So excited to be releasing that this fall. I'm thinking actually of kind of tailoring the Rainbow podcast release dates around that as well, because we're talking about releasing those on Friday. So maybe I'll do Monday, Tuesday, Rainbow, Wednesday, Haskincast, Thursday, Rainbow, and then Friday we'll have the WKRP podcast, so that I'm not overlapping anything but the Cherry Red Records releases and special interview releases that I do. So that's something I'm considering. But Corey is a great guy. We've done each other's shows many, many times. And I love working with him. He's a total stand-up guy, somebody I could absolutely count on. We have Nate from the Deep Purple podcast, another amazing guy. He's been on this show many times, been on the Haskincast podcast. We've talked about all kinds of albums. We've got a list of more that we want to cover in the coming days. So we'll be working on that. But great guy. Go check out the Deep Purple podcast, guys. The original. They have a very different approach to the show. I love their new breezy summer format where they're actually digging deeper into the individual songs, kind of like what I do on here. So I'm really enjoying that. And yeah, lots of fun. And those guys are great. John and Nate are just, again, like total stand-up guys. We have Mark Roback, another just gem in my Rolodex. He has a couple of podcasts, the 70s Weekly Countdown with Mark and Pete, as well as his newest podcast just released as I'm recording this today, his episode covering his trip to Ireland. He went to Ireland. That's where he went, to Ireland. Great podcasting, Haskin. This is why people pay for you. And he has the show Roy Gallagher, the Bad Penny podcast. If you're a fan of my show, the Haskincast podcast, he was on a few episodes talking about Rory. Kind of inspired him to really dig into Rory's life a little bit more and his music a little bit more and start his own show. Heavily applaud that. I'm a big fan and anxious to listen to that new episode as soon as I have the time. It is tough to do a podcast by yourself. He's used to doing the show with Peter Gardeau, and it's a very different dynamic when you go solo. So he's doing a great job. Check it out, guys. Also, all these podcasts that I'm mentioning are all on the Boneless Podcasting Network that was started by Chaz Charles, who is a podcasting legend of his own. He's got a bunch of shows. They're all on there. My shows are all on there. Corey's shows, 70s Weekly Countdown, Bad Penny podcast, they're all on there. Link is in the show notes, guys. So please go check out the growing network of shows on the Boneless Podcasting Network. Also, a really great guy. I've been so excited to get to know. Kyroon Olson is in the $5 Money Talks tier, as well as Sick Tone, another really cool person. And then we have Josh, who is a podcaster as well. He has the Engine Room podcast. Many people who listen to this show may be guitarists or guitar enthusiasts. Go check out the Engine Room. He digs into that. He interviews people. He talks about tone, equipment, how to get it, strategies, what people use in songs. Really fascinating stuff, especially if you're a gearhead, but not limited to gearheads by any means. It's a fascinating show. He's got some great guests on, so go check that out. Then at the $1 No Need to Shout tier, we have the aforementioned Peter Gardeau, another really cool guy. And it's kind of a bummer. I have yet to meet Mark or Pete in real life, but we have podcasted together many times. I have been on the 70s Weekly Countdown with them a couple of times. They have been on the Haskincast podcast. They've been on this show. Just great people, absolutely great people. Then we have Matt in Vegas, who I'm looking forward to meeting up with when I head to Vegas in September. We have Michael, we have Ashley Bird, we have Martin Duffel, and Rosedale Tom, who I'm also looking forward to meeting up with in Vegas. He's been a big supporter on the Blue Sky account. All just really cool people. It's such an honor to know you guys and to have your support. Also joining us on the free side, which is still greatly appreciated, we have my good friend Kenny Wymore. Kenny is just an awesome guy, another just stand-up person. Happy to have them as a friend. Another Steve Coldwell, he's been on this show before. Another really great guy. Another one I have not met in person. I haven't met Kenny either, or William, for that matter. Then we also have Purple Maniac, Yobani Cortez, which is that's such a badass name. Sarah Jane, Shane O'Neill, and Zwapper the Electric Alchemist. Thank you all. Thank you to the folks who have been in the Patreon and are no longer part of it for whatever reason. Sometimes it's an ongoing membership, but there are people that it'll say membership expired. It doesn't look like they canceled it, but for some reason it does say expired, which I think is very, very strange. Not sure how that works. I'm a patron of a couple of different things, and I've never had that happen to me. I did have a month where something happened to the billing. I still don't know what caused it because I've never changed it. So sometimes weird little glitches happen. I don't take it personally. If you didn't want to be a supporter of the show anymore, that's fine. If you did and something happened, I'm sorry. That's not anything at all that's in my control. I don't have any say so in how that goes. And honestly, it's really kind of awkward to reach out to go, hey, you've been giving me money every month, and I noticed you're not doing that anymore. What's going on? And do I have to call somebody to visit you? There's just no way to approach that I'm comfortable with. It just seems, I'm just so grateful for anybody that supports the show, and that just seems a little weird to me. So thank you all. It's been absolutely amazing. Thank you for everyone who's listened to this show, who's listened to Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast, currently at 408 episodes. The Haskincast podcast is, we're about to hit 600 with my special guest, none other than Corey Morissette, on the show for that one. That hasn't aired yet, but will be soon. And got lots of great stuff ahead, guys. So excited to share that with you. And then my forthcoming podcast, Samhain, the To Walk the Pod, and then Rainbow Men on the Silver podcast. Can't wait to start recording episodes for that and work on my logo with my good buddy Scott Lazinski, who did the logo for this show and did the logo for Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast, except for the little part where it says endorsed by Uriah Heep. That came from none other than Mick Box himself. So thank you guys all so much for the support. Words will never be enough to express how grateful I am for any attention that you've given this show at all. So thank you very much. And now, without any further ado, without any more babbling from me, what else could I say besides let's get into our last album track today. Here it is, Splat by Deep Purple. Man, I have to wonder if that's not the 26-inch bass drum. That thing is huge sounding. I mean, part of it could be the engineering too. There's a lot that you can do with miking techniques, EQ, transients. There's a lot that you can do. But man, it just sounds big to me. I'm going to guess that that's the 26-inch. Love the drum sound on that part. Sounds really good. Love that keyboard sound that we're getting in the background. Interesting how much in the foreground the drums are, but I have been saying that through the whole album that they have been very upfront in the mix, and it has caused some difficulties for me with the mix. That's been part of it, more so the hi-hat than anything else. But no, the drums sound really, really good when they're isolated. Now, I was on the live stream for And the Podcast Will Rock last night, another show hosted by my friend Corey Morissette. And I don't remember what song it was that they spun, but somebody in the chat had mentioned that the drums sounded a little bit weird, and they were kind of isolated like this. And this is the thing, when you listen to one instrument, and this is why, as an audio engineer, a lot of times they'll say, do not EQ instruments when they're in solo mode. Like, don't solo just the drums and then EQ it. You need to EQ it the way it blends in with the other instruments. And as we're going to hear, this upfront boomy kick, tight snare drum sound is going to morph a little bit as other instruments are added in, because they are, again, fighting for frequencies, fighting for space. The effects are fighting each other. So there's a lot going on that changes the sound. So kind of maybe just keep that in the back of your head a little bit. I am loving that we're getting some serious amounts of Roger Glover on this. Man, does his bass sound so gritty and heavy. Absolutely love that. It's funny. I was thinking about, because the second song that they spun last night on And the Podcast Will Rock finally was Stargazer. And I've been waiting for that for a while because Corey did not know the song, and I've just been dying to know what he thought of it. I couldn't tell if that was a song that was going to be one he would love or just was a little too much and it was a turnoff to him. turned out he loved it. Spoiler alert. But anyway, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about like Straight Between the Eyes and what a different song that a set of songs that is on that album versus Rising. And I was thinking about Roger's bass tone. Like it's really gotten heavier with Deep Purple. I mean, they're a different band, and the music is quite different. It's edgier, it's heavier, and I get that. But boy, you listen to the bass on songs like Stone Cold or Bring on the Night, and yeah, it's got a good sound to it. But this is just like dark and gritty and heavy, and really hard rock. And I just love this tone. I love the tone he had on Straight Between the Eyes, so don't get me wrong. When I get to that album, I'll talk about that more on the Rainbow podcast. But for now, let's get back to Splat. Interestingly, because the drums are so out in front and still sort of dominating the sound of the song, they haven't really changed that much. And it's interesting that I just went off on that tirade about how it changes sounds, but we did lose some of the bass because again, now you're getting the guitars in, you've got the distortion on the guitars. They're not fighting the same frequency, but they're fighting space. And you've also got, the keyboards in the background haven't changed that much that would affect the mix of it. We've got vocals we have to layer in, so they're going to want to squash down some of that instrumentation to be able to clear a path for the vocals. Interesting riff, though. I find it very fascinating. This song's got some great movement to it. And while it's a slower example, one thing that comes to mind would be off of Rainbow's Difficult to Cure album and Midtown Tunnel Vision. Just kind of the way that the movement of it and the groove of it is kind of similar, just a little faster, but it has a little bit of darkness to it, which I like. Not as much as Midtown Tunnel Vision does, but I like the atmosphere of this song. Interested to dig more into the vocals. I'm going to have to go back and listen to the song a few times to get, the full story, but just kind of focusing in on the music right now and the sound of the vocals as an instrument. This is really well put together. I'm not sure how I feel about the drums being this up front in the mix apart from the opening, but I'm not against it. Not like it matters because they're not going to change it. Well, I really like the vocals on this. I mean, this whole section here is really nice. I actually think I have to take back what I said. I think the drums are blended in a little bit better than I initially felt. Listening back to it a couple times, again, like the difference between listening through the media player versus listening to what I'm recording into the DAW for the show. Since I don't know these songs that well, especially even songs I knew, I would go back and listen to parts 2 or 3 times sometimes, just make sure I'm really hearing everything. And that's how I discovered some of the hidden stuff that I just never noticed before. But with this, I'm doing the same thing. There's just so much to take in when you don't know the songs. And this has been such an interesting season because of that. Even by the time I got to Equals One, I knew it pretty well, decently enough. But this is so interesting. So I do have to take back what I said. I think this song is pretty well mixed so far. I love this groove in what I'm guessing is going to be the chorus. It may just turn out to be a bridge. I don't know. But this it's so cool. It's so well done. It feels a little bit funky, but not like funk music. And I like that. I like just the motion of it. In fact, that's one thing I would say consistently about songs on this album. I'm not talking about beat. I'm talking about the melody, the way that they're going, just like really smooth, clean eighth notes for a lot of it, even if they're resting on one. That kind of just motion in a song. And I'm a big fan of it. You think about riffs, you're like, take Since You've Been Gone. It's not choppy in a bad way, but it's just not, continuous smooth notes. So you've got like da-na-na space, da-na-na space. But this, a lot of this album just flows very nicely. You do get some of those spaces in there in the main riffs, but I like when they do parts like this, and they seem to be doing it in the choruses a little more where things just flow very nicely and just keep in that motion. So I hope that makes sense. I hope I'm explaining that well. If not, that's how I explained it.
Let the cat out the bag, all kinds of hell to pay. Moving along, running easy and free. Back in the groove, don't worry about me. I'm gonna bark up another tree.
Boy, I love that Roger's cutting through more on this. I really missed hearing his bass on this album. Hopefully, as I get used to the songs, I'll be able to hone in a little bit more on his work. But he always adds so much to a song, and I don't know if it's just buried or he's changed style for this album. I honestly have no idea, but it has been a different experience, and I think the change in what I'm hearing in bass, I think, has been a big part of it. And maybe that's why the songs aren't quite hitting for me the way they normally do. That could be a big part of it, because I do think it's, he's not just a bass player. He's, he really contributes to the song. He's not just playing root notes all the time, but I kind of feel on this album he is a little dialed back. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll find more of that as I get to know the songs. I'm really hoping so. I really do. But this part is cool. I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going next. But I just wanted to point out, I love the vocal layering here. This song, I feel would have fit really well on, I want to say, Abandon. That's just coming to mind. I don't know exactly where it would have fit within Abandon, but I feel like that's kind of where they were, or when writing songs like this. It feels like that period for me. And I mean, obviously it's where they are now. This is the whole album is where they are now. But just like, they talked about, this is like back in the old days and all that stuff. But I feel this song would have been an Abandon song. Okay, I can't think of what song it is, but that definitely is very, very Beatlesque right there. I can hear the guitar, I can hear John Lennon, but I cannot for the life of me in this moment think of which song it is. God, that's going to bug me because I know it's one I know. And when I figure it out, I'm going to be so frustrated that I couldn't do it right now. But I've got this song in my head, so it's, at least a little bit understandable. I also feel like the end of this part, which I'm wondering if they're going to end the song with this, or I should say end the album with this, because that's really where we're at, kind of reminded me of, I don't remember which song title it was, because again, I'm not really always connecting titles to songs anymore. But the one on Equals One where he says it all equals one, where like the music kind of drops out and he's like, it all equals one. It reminded me of that part a little bit. It feels a little bit similar. So I'm going to be curious to see if they come back to this at the ending. But I really like this. I mean, it sounds fantastic. I just really wish I could think of that song. It's going to bug me. So please, Rosedale Tom, I'm sure you'll be the first one to do it. Please let me know which Beatles song it is that's just not coming to my mind. And then I'll be like, oh man, you're so right. Why couldn't I think of that? Because I've got this other song in my head and I'm sticking to that excuse. I know the song, I promise. I did not expect that in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so we're going back to the beginning, the way that they're bringing the instruments in, except we don't have that background keyboard pad that we had in the beginning that set the the atmosphere in the background for the song. I love the way that it's just drums and then the bass comes in a little bit later, like they did in the beginning. I just would not have expected they would do that here underneath the solo. I want to say that's a keyboard solo, but I honestly don't know if that's a keyboard or a guitar. And you don't have either one in the background, but whether you did or not doesn't matter, because you could have a keyboard in the background overdub a solo, you could have a guitar in the background overdub the solo. So that's not really telltale either way. But I'm not hearing any bends. I'm hearing what could be faster picking, but that also could just be faster, hitting the keys on the keyboard. Not really hearing anything specifically telltale to me. So I think it could be either one, but what it is a really interesting and unexpected tone. Would not have predicted that would be in the song. It almost feels like it's just going like back to the old days. In it doesn't really fit in because it doesn't feel like it has the same EQ. It feels a little bit filtered, I want to say, and kind of apart from everything else, which is interesting. Now, as where I stopped it here, we've got a little bit of guitar coming in, so I'm going to go back a couple of seconds because, of course, I am. And so I want to make sure that I catch all of that. But yeah, really interesting, unexpected. I'm a fan of that. This song is definitely making me smile, and can't wait to see what they do next. Okay, so that slide seemed to sound similar in EQ to the first half of the solo. So I'm back to I have no idea. What's interesting is we're only getting bass and drums in the background. We're not getting like a nice chugging rhythm guitar track. We're not getting a pad over the top of everything. We're not getting piano stabs, at least nothing that I'm hearing at all. So it's really just bass, drums, and whatever the solo instrument is, which is, I can't think of another time they've ever done that. So that's pretty interesting. I like the way it ended. I like the guitar solo here. Very nice. I like that unexpected delayed cymbal hit with the bass drum from Ian Pace. Just, comes like one beat later. Always interesting when you change the feel of something just by that one simple decision. So great stuff. I'm definitely a fan of this song so far, and we'll see where it goes next.
Into the future as we splat against the wall. Leave this all behind and soon we won't be here at all. We go in metaphysical, whimsical and spiritual. Won't need that sycamore no more.
Huh. I don't know how I feel about the end of it. I mean, if it was just the end of the song on the album, that would be one thing, but this is the end of the album. Does this ending make me want to start the album over again immediately? We're going to answer that question in a second, but first, before I forget, I want to point out nice use of the flange, not not too up front, just in there, giving it a little bit of spice. I thought that was very well done. Again, I like this part. Got a repeat of that Beatles-esque section. I still don't know what it was, but I almost guarantee it was one of those later Beatles songs. Maybe, I don't think it was Abbey Road. I don't think it definitely wasn't Revolver. Definitely wasn't Magical Mystery Tour. Definitely wasn't Let It Be. Could be the White Album. But I feel like it's one of those songs where John Lennon like mapped out lyrics so he could get a flow for it with the intention of replacing the lyrics, and then just never did, and kept whatever nonsensical thing he did, like on Come Together, where he's talking about just all kinds of things that everyone's still like, what the hell is he talking about? I feel like it was a song like that, but I also feel it's similar to that song on Equals One as well. I don't know. So to answer the question, I honestly don't feel like this ending makes me feel excited or unsatisfied either way, to the point where I need more. I feel like with this ending, I'm like, okay, well, I'm done with that album. which is really interesting because, as I've said many times on this show, and I've said on the Haskincast podcast and other shows I've been on, you want your album to end in a way that makes people want to or need to have more. Whether that's going to another project you've done, or whether it's going back to side A or the beginning of side B, whatever it is, like you want them to say, I'm not done with this, even though this album is done. And I don't get that this time. I think this is a great song, but I'm not getting that from this ending. I think even with Equals One, I did feel kind of satisfied. Like I could go back and listen to it, or I could listen to something different. I don't need to, but I feel good. Like and this one I'm like, I just don't feel that much. So as this album grows on me over the coming months and years and decades and centuries and millennia, however long I'm going to be listening to it, I'll be curious to see how I feel about that. Maybe that will change. Again, this is the first, time that I'm doing a critical listen. I don't know the song well enough to have a lot of personal experience with it. So keep all that in mind when you hear, well, I guess it's too late now because I've already said everything. But I do think that those are potential factors. I want to be fair to the album. I do like it. I'm very glad they put this out. I think this is a great album. I know I'll like it more and more as I listen to it. I feel it's one that just needs to grow on me a little bit more than some of the others did. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I'm really looking forward to seeing them live. I'm looking forward to seeing what songs they surprise us with at the show. Again, I'm not looking at any set lists. There's certain things I know damn well they're going to do. They're going to open with Highway Star. They're going to end with probably Hush, Black Knight, maybe that Green Onions medley. I really hope they don't do that. I hope that they change that out for something different. They've got so many songs to choose from to dig that out when they've been playing it for so long. It just seems, I don't know. It's just not my favorite thing. Like it's fun and all, but like there's so much else you could do. You could bust out I'm Alone. You could bust out, I don't know, like any number of songs. You could do Our Lady. I'd love to hear that. That I don't believe has ever been played live. I'm sure it has. And I know I've looked before. You could just do anything that's a little bit different. I mean, I know they're not going to do anything that Ian wasn't on, but there's so many songs that Ian was on. And, maybe that's just a point where they use that to give him a rest before the final push with the, Smoke in the Water and Hush and Black Knight and all that. I don't know. I mean, that's very possible too. They just need a little break for him. But you know what? You've got keyboard solos. You've got guitar solos. You can do something different for the bass solo. Just riff and have some fun. I'd rather see that. That's just me though. But either way, I don't even care. I'm looking forward to seeing them again. Cannot wait in my favorite city on the planet. Or other planets. There's no other cities on any other planets that I know that make me happier than being in Vegas. So looking forward to that. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. We will be back for our last episode for season 27, covering a song I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing right. Guinness's. I'm guessing that is a play on Guinness and Genesis. Maybe it is the beginning of drinking Guinness. I don't know. We'll find out. I don't even know. Well, I do believe there are lyrics to it. I think I did find that out. But I have no idea what they are yet. So we will find out tomorrow. In the meantime, you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks again from the bottom of my heart for all your support. It has meant so much to me. And we'll see you in the next one, guys. Cheers. Thanks for listening to Deep Purple Smoke on the Podcast, a tour of the entire Deep Purple studio recordings. Please remember to give the show a rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. Leave a comment and tell your friends. I also have a Patreon set up if you'd like to support the show. You can also write to me at smokeonthepodcast@gmail.com. I hope you enjoyed the episode and thanks for listening.